What's going on, Z Warriors? MrWaffles here with another video. This is round 5 of the feature match of the New Hampshire case event. I know it's been a while since a video has been posted, but we just want to make sure that everything was consistent. And we have a special guest commentator, as always, but this time he has a channel of his own, which is really big, and you all might know him. It's UofCWildcat. So, do you want to say hi, dude?
Hey everybody, thanks for having me here, MrWaffles, and I'm really excited for this match. It's a pretty good one as well.
Yeah, do you have any favor going into matchup? I mean, this is like a popular MP tier match because we have Ginyu and Piccolo, both in their respective, I guess, highly played decks in terms of Namekian Piccolo and the famous Orange Ginyu.
Yeah, I really honestly think that Ginyu beats Piccolo every time just because it's a lot more aggro and it gets on them, and Namekian does not have a lot of ability to crit the allies away. So that really hurts Namekian, and that's why I think Ginyu has a big strong point here, but if Piccolo can anger out quickly, he may find a way to win this game.
Yeah, it seems like that's probably the viable way for Piccolo to kind of beat a Ginyu, to hopefully try and anger out, because you can't really deal with all the allies, and you have to get to level 2, and even so, you get off of level 2 fairly quickly, so it's one of those things where, and I guess this matchup you really want to stay at 2, but yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I really feel like, like the ball bounce variants that like BC Valdez came up with, those are the best ones to deal with Ginyu, but at the same time, then you're starting to lose to Krillin a little bit more, because if you stay on level 2, you bounce balls a little bit, and you're a lot more passive and have a lot more setups.
Yeah. So it seems like, I'm not sure if both players drew. Trying to see.
Right here, I think Namekian is going first.
Okay.
And I think when I see his hand, he's got Confrontation, Overtime, and Heroic Energy Sphere.
Yeah.
And I think he would use the Heroic Energy Sphere here, trying to save it for later. So maybe that'll help him later in the match, as Ginyu's now going to go up here. He has a physical block. I think he has an energy attack, but he'll just pass the turn and rejuvenate the precise shot.
Yeah.
We go over here. We've got Namekian now. It is his turn. He'll set the Wish. And again, very passive already. Both of them trying to, not lose advantage, especially Ginyu, because even if you enter first turn against Ginyu, they are up 1, being able to get an ally.
Exactly. I mean,
so
sorry. Yeah, I was going to say exactly. I mean, you don't really want to enter against Ginyu until you feel like you're ready or you have a way to get rid of an ally, because you're just asking to pretty much lose, I feel.
Yeah. A huge drop right here is he gets Steady Drill out early, being able to start with these energy attacks. So he'll start out with Orange Stare Down, get rid of Namekian Wish, forcing Piccolo to stay in combat even if he has a bad hand.
I'm surprised he didn't want to enter with like a Nappa or something like that. But
I think either way it works out for him. And then right here we see, this is probably one of the biggest misplays in the game. So he's got Orange Steady Drill on the field. Piccolo uses Time as Warrior's tool, and then Piccolo will then spear that Time as Warrior's tool. That way, Steady Drill does not work the rest of the combat either, so basically, you waste the best card in the game.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And then going right here, he'll Ginyu Power, and he's going to go grab an ally.
Probably go Nappa.
He just took the first one, and he grabs Nappa, so I'm not really sure about that play. But, as you see right here, he does grab Hybrid Defense, so either way, even if he did grab Jace, it would not have been able to have the ally take control of combat.
Yeah. I was just curious as to why he would Orange Stare Down the Wish, which was fine if he was going to get Nappa anyway. You would figure he would, since his time got sphered, he would get a Goldo or something like that. But I guess because he entered first, so I guess on Sweeney's turn when he enters. Oh, sorry, this is not Sweeney. This is another fellow. But the fact that I guess if it's the other player's turn, if he plays down setups, he can't play them. I guess that's my reasoning.
That's a perplexing one too, because like I said, getting Nappa after you've gotten rid of the setup and there's no setups on the field seems a little bit redundant at that point. But it's working out in his favor so far as he looks to take an early advantage.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the thing is that even if the Namekian player does play setups on his turn, it's not like he would enter. You know what I mean? Because he'll be down a couple of cards anyway, so he can still pull out the Nappa anytime. And if he wanted to go more aggressive on that turn, he could have. But Guess we'll see how it
my
plays
thought
out.
process. And then we go right here. So after placing ball 1 and a radar, Ginyu knows that he can get into the combat and hopefully throw some massive damage as he enters with Ginyu power. And this time he's going to go search out. And I think this time, if I remember correctly, he now gets Goldo.
Yeah.
And another big mistake as the Namekian player starts taking damage before he gets the ally. Basically signifying, hey, you're going to be able to have any ally power. Because it does change it.
Exactly.
So right here with Goldo, I think he elects Goldo to be able to take over. So that way he's got a block on the field.
And I see I see an energetic left blast in the Namekian player's hand. This is the person who beat the same Vegeta player last game and uses that to clear out Nappa.
Yeah. And that one, I feel like, is a very odd mistake, because throwing the energy attack to get rid of Nappa is okay, but you give Goldo a block, and then he gets hurt by it because overpowering attack just grabs Nappa back again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's 9. That's actually, I think, 11 life cards in 2 stages.
Yeah.
With Goldo and everything.
Or drill too. So it's +4 plus the mastery, so it's 5 alone on that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's some big damage, and that's what Ginyu does. It capitalizes on your mistakes, but looks like we get another Piccolo power here to gain an anger. He uses steady drill, and then he'll use distracting beams now. Looks like he's throwing orange power point, maybe some endurance, because again, I don't think he has blocks, which is the reason he goes and grabs Goldo. And then more damage again. Hefty combats for this Piccolo player.
It's crazy.
Yep. And then after here, I think they both pass, and the combat will be over. Now, I think Piccolo's looking to weighted clothing here, though.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm not sure what anger he's at, because I can't see the die. It looks like he's at 4.
Yeah, he's at 4 right now.
Okay.
And then right here, yep, they end the turn, leaving the knee block on top of the discard pile, which is a very, very good card to have for passive rejuvenation.
Mm-hmm.
He searches for a drill with the mastery, orange player does, but there is no drill on the discard pile to search. So it is Piccolo's turn again, and this time I've got a few non-combat cards to play here. He plays Dragon Ball 7, the ability to mill 4, and here is another big misplay for the Piccolo player. He is more concerned about the milling, and he forgets to set his top 3 for the next turn.
Oh,
he's got cards like time and more attack, so that really is going to put him behind.
Wow, that's huge.
Yep. Throws down a heroic assistance, though. Another good card, throws a rejuvenation. But now it'll be Ginyu's turn, and again, without setting your top 3, it's a big play. And it actually looks like the Namekian player just flipped the top cards on accident. Maybe not on purpose, but flipped the knee block underneath the stance.
I mean, that's pretty much, you can get DQ'd once OP starts, because
I think this would be considered like one of the misplays. I think,
or like a warning or something. But
yeah, like one of the warnings.
But it's huge because that can change everything. I mean, the fact that he'd even stack with ball 7 is very perplexing. Just because I figure that's the whole reason you play it it's because he has also energetic left blast in the discard pile. So to toolbox and get cards that you need to deal with Nappa.
That actually is very true. I did not even think about the energetic left blast being there as well, but I thought time for sure, because after a few combats of getting hit hard, as you see right here, he's taking more damage from the Ginyu power. It's really, really going to be hurting him in the later states of the game. And right here, I think the Ginyu player makes a pretty good play. He knows that his opponent's at 4 anger, and he's got a weighted clothing in the discard pile anyway. Might as well cap ball 1 and try and add to the damage that's going to be outputted this turn.
So he uses Piccolo to level and Goldo.
Yep, another Goldo block. Again, more damage. At this point, it's a 5 life card boost with everything on the field for him.
Plus Jace. It's
a lot to come back from, for sure. And right here, I think he has Goldo, or he uses Uppercut, and Uppercut is worded weirdly. We figured this out at North Guy. You can have any personality pay the stages for the Orange Uppercut. So he has Goldo pay those stages already to go grab overpowering attack.
Yeah, predicting the Piccolo power to counter, which is good. I mean, I guess uppercut just like any other. I guess any attack that would cost stages, you can just pay off an ally.
Yeah.
You know, just like if it was an energy attack for 2. So
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Now,
right here, you see him flip the discard pile again, throwing the weighted clothing underneath the knee block on top of the weighted clothing. It's one of those little things. It's kind of like, flipping the cards. I just don't think he realizes it, because earlier he flipped knee block under stance, and usually you want knee block on top for the rejuvenation. So I don't think he's doing it on purpose.
Yeah. I think it's probably more of a habitual thing, because you see him like shuffle his cards a lot, like with his hand.
Yep, exactly.
So I think it's more of like a nervous twitch or some kind of just reaction, knee-jerk reaction.
Yep. Just like the Ginyu player over here flicking his cards. I know I do. It's a bad habit to have.
Yeah. So
this is another misplay here where didn't the Orange Ginyu go grab overpowering attack, but does not use overpowering attack to go and grab Jace back. And because of that, Death Blow is going to remove the Jace from the discard pile.
Well, I think Mark was trying to save it for the Nappa because he feels that's more crucial, because he can't radar or toolbox with assistance. So I figured, I think Nappa's more of a big threat than probably like Jace, just because you also have just orange energy attacks. Jace is just like a bonus, but like Nappa's, in like Yu-Gi-Oh! We'll call like a floodgate, where it just kind of shuts down your opponent, and he would rather control the field with a Nappa, shut off all those like Namekian fusions and all that stuff, than to get like an extra attack.
Exactly. It's a very good play as well, but I feel like at that point in the combat, when you've got a lot of boost already, I feel like it was time to go gun-ho, but it doesn't seem to be hurting him too much, as he's way ahead in the life deck count.
Yeah.
Another pass and rejuve for the Piccolo player. I don't think he has entered once this entire game already, but he does get another heroic assistance in ball 5 on the field, and I think he's currently at 2 anger, so he has an ability. I think he's got 2 weighted clothings in the discard pile for 4 potential anger in the combat.
I'm trying to think. I'm not sure if the Namekian player shuffled weighted clothing back on top or something. I have to recheck it, but it's been a lot of, like we've seen, just stare down.
And right here, a crucial stare down here, but there's a lot of good cards there, but I think overall, you have to get overtime.
Exactly.
Because if you don't get overtime, he's just going to rejuvenate whichever card you discard to get it back.
Exactly.
So he gets the value out of it. And I actually don't think he realizes that, because are you still looking to check which card? Because I don't think he realizes that he can rejuvenate that, which is why he picks Double Strike.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. I would have got overtime as well. Like you said, because you just rejuvenate it and just get it out.
Yep.
And not only that,
I think he actually has the problem with it when I watched it before. He's communicating with the Namekian player and doesn't realize that you can rejuvenate and just grab Double Strike. Yeah, I think right here is where the discussion happens. And it's actually pretty crazy. With the amount of Namekian, usually I think that's common knowledge. But, again, sometimes you don't play it and it's not first thing that comes to your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I think right here, if he can capitalize, he knows he's got the energy guard. Maybe he can try and capture a Dragon Ball somehow. Yeah, right here he plays Orange Uppercut, and this will hopefully try and stage lock Piccolo, because he does not have a physical block.
Orange stare down, nice.
Yep, another one to get rid of those setups, because I think he realizes the crit from Double Strike is going to get rid of Nappa, and I think he's got to accept that, and just get rid of Dragon Radar to prevent more Dragon Balls getting on the field, especially Ball 3, which can help alleviate his hand, which is full of energy attacks, and if he does lose a bunch of stages, it's going to be hard for him to try and get back to full power and use those energies.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is the Ginyu player at, because with the glare, I'm not sure if he's at 2 above or at 0, because I know he paid the uppercut off of Nappa.
I think currently he is at 2 above. When I watched it back through, he is currently at 2 above. So I think he had Goldo being able to take over. I don't even know if he's actually used Ginyu's power. So right here, it looks like he's paying something for Goldo at 2 stages above 0, which is another misplay. Because, I mean, you could pay it with Ginyu, but I don't think he's realizing that he's not 1 above.
Yeah, and he is 2 above. I can see it now, if you can see it.
The glare really does come off, and you can definitely see that he is not at 1 above or 0. Right here, Piccolo player, I think he's going to try and weighted clothing. Or he's looking for it. Oh no, he's assistancing right here.
Yeah, because he's got 4 anger, so...
Yep. That's what I thought. I thought he was going to lose an anger out there. But no, he's going to heroic assistance, shuffle it back in, and I think he levels off that. Again, trying to put more cards into the life deck as possible.
Yeah. I mean, worst comes to worst, you have to be careful with ball decks, because when you deal so much damage, especially like an Orange Ginyu to a Piccolo, all those balls go at the bottom, and they can kind of surprise them, like try and ball out on you. So it's one of those things you have to be very careful of.
It's definitely happened before. I know I had a buddy who was playing against he was an Orange Krillin deck playing against Namekian, and I think he destroyed most of his life deck, and with 10 cards left, the Namekian player balled out. And it's very, very, very hard to be in that type of matchup where you can't just kill them. And as you see right here, he does pay with overpowering attack with Ginyu, which is, again, rather big misplay, because he did pay with Goldo earlier for the Orange Stare Down.
Yeah.
Getting Nappa, though, really big play to shut off the second assistance so he can't shuffle more cards into his life deck and stay alive. And I think total overpowering attack will be doing 9 life cards, I think.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, because ball 1 and the mastery.
Yeah, so again, more big damage. He's already used his 1 energy block to shuffle in some cards, but as of right now, he's got pretty much dead draws, and I think right here, he's looking to weighted clothing, which may not be the best play. He had, in his hand, he had Double Strike, Energy Guard, Overtime, and another attack. Maybe try and use the other attack and try and take away stages so you can crit Nappa.
Yeah.
But right here, he decides to weighted clothing, thinking that he can live another attack if his opponent does have the other attack.
Yeah, I don't like using weighted clothing so prematurely. If I feel secure that I'm going to level, there's no point of really using it when you don't have anger, because your opponent could probably dish out a lot of damage, especially Orange Ginyu, and then you can just lower the anger. So, but I guess he has another one.
Yeah, he had 2. He hasn't used any of them. He had the 2 from the earlier combat, so he's got 1 more in the discard pile.
Mm.
And then right here, I think the Ginyu player is just looking to see what card he wants to put on top, because I think his last card, if I remember seeing it correctly, was Distracting Beams.
Yeah, again, I would definitely still wait for my opponent to kind of do everything before I weighted clothing. Even if I have another one, it's such a card that has so much value that you don't want to just lose it just to gain 2 anger, especially if you're not going to level up that turn.
Exactly, and I think right here, get the last few cards, and we enter Dragon Ball Loop, and that is game to Ginyu.
Mm-hmm. So, in your opinion, what would you say is the best Ginyu? Is there a best Ginyu, or?
I think the best Ginyu right now, when set 1 was just out, it was definitely Orange. But Black had a chance to win. Right now, Black got a lot more tools into the toolbox that Orange Ginyu did not, so it's pretty even, and I think it's up in the air who's better.
Yeah, and where would you place Orange and Red?
Oh my lord. I think Red is really, really close. Its ability to anger is very, very crazy, but I really do like what it can do, but I'd rather take the stability that Orange has.
Yeah. And I meant blue, like red and blue.
Oh, blue. Yeah. Blue is probably the worst of the bunch. It has a lot of ally recursion, but the damage output is really, really weak, and unless you can get to level 3, you're really not doing a lot of damage with a lot of blue attacks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's one of the things. I mean, I've seen, like, ball variants of blue, but it's some crazy stuff. I think, like you said, Orange and Black probably like the top 2, in my opinion. Black with being able to utilize like foreshadowing because you can have access to Frieza if people play it, I think is a good card, which I don't see some Ginyu players playing, but it's one of those cards I feel is just bonkers for sure.
It's a lot of passive mill, which is what Black does, and being able to sit outside of combat with corruptions or use events that mill for 4 or 5, which is a big portion of your deck, it's hard to come back from.
Yeah, I agree. And I know it's a lot of announcements because I know we already just did the video, but we can just do like a little mini podcast. What are you excited most about OP, and what are you looking forward to in set 3?
I just recorded my video for State of the Meta last night, where I'm talking about the OP, and really I'm super excited about a lot of the prizes that you come in, especially the entry-level prizes. The Gen Con ones where you get alternate art set 1 cards, I think is unreal, especially the Black Delays, the Devastating Blows, which I think a lot of decks are starting to run again. That card fell off the face a little bit, but everybody's starting to put it back into their repertoire again. I think old art of that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that'll be crazy. I'm just excited for what the game is really doing in terms of everyone doing a lot of hard work and making organized play a thing. And as for the game, how do you think we can get new players into the game?
It's something that I'm looking to do. You just need to be out there and open to people who come up. I know I've been at local events and there have been people who walk up and I try to show them, but it's really difficult when you're in the middle of a game because somebody's coming in and everybody's moving really, really fast. I think people need to make an effort at their locals, especially going out and being like, hey, I'm going to have a day where I come in for 2-3 hours and sit with demo decks, and anybody who wants to learn, just come up. I think that's the best way to learn, because that's how a lot of people learned at the last year's Gen Con, where the demo decks were at the Retro Z events, and people were able to come up and just say, hey, can I borrow one of these decks? And, oh, yeah, and people started to learn and were really excited about the new Dragon Ball Z game. So if you're sitting at your local and some people walk in trying to look at their Yu-Gi-Oh cards or their Magic cards that they want to get, and they look over and they see some Dragon Ball Z, and they're like, oh, well, what's this?
Yeah.
Having a really dumbed-down 40-card deck that you can play in probably 15 minutes to learn the game is probably the best way to introduce people, and then people are like, oh, that was really fun. Where do I get the product? And you just tell them where, tell them what you need, how to play the game, where to go for like the Retro Dragon Ball Z Facebook page or the Panini WordPress page. Just all that stuff for them to be able to learn and get into the game.
Yeah, and before we go, I mean, do you think the game has like a really hard learning curve? Because I know compared to other card games, it's a different type of card game in terms of how to really predict, or certain things like that. Do you just think it's just a harder game for people to kind of grasp, so some people might be turned away from it more?
It's the real problem right now is that there's a lot of layoff in between new sets. Set 2 came out, I think it was like March, if I remember correctly, so it's about 3 to 4 months of, the same meta, and a meta can really establish itself in less than a month, like 2 weeks to a month, and people get turned off by it, and if your local is having a lot of people who just want to win, it's the wrong mentality to have, so that's the real struggle right now of the game, and I would say the best way for, to keep pushing the game and make everybody happy and keep everybody involved is to, mess around with random decks so that when new people come in with their Saiyan Vegeta decks or their Saiyan Trunks decks, they aren't getting smashed by Namekian decks all over the place, and they're like, well, how am I going to play with the personalities I like if all I'm seeing are the same decks that just counter them?
Yeah, I agree. And I know at my locals we try a bunch of different things. Like I've tried Orange Trunks to, everything. Red Vegeta Ball. Some of my friends play. Like we just play a bunch of different decks for sure. We know sometimes when it is time to get competitive, but for the most part, our locals really try to expand and really create like a healthy meta environment, which I think is kind of neat. I know people want to win, but you could always do that. You know what I mean? I think you don't really want to turn away players by just playing like the same 3 decks.
Exactly, and that's why when they put on the OP tournament guide expressing the locals, trying to get people involved, when I go to a local and I see 5 Piccolo Namekian decks and I see 3 Orange Ginyus, that's really going to turn me off. But if I go to a local like the ones I'm starting to go to, where people are coming with Namekian Gohan Ally or Orange Tien or even Black Tempo Tien like the one I built on my deck lab, just a deck that you want to try out and think and see if it's good, those are the type of decks that people can come in and it's a competitive base instead of everybody's Namekian Piccolo and let's just get to the top cut and see which Namekian Piccolo player doesn't make a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. And last but not least, do you think any of these cards need to be toned down a bit, or does everything just needs to be boosted up more?
The big problem is Ginyu is probably a set 3 personality who came out in set 1, so he's just strong in itself. Namekian already got a little bit of a decrease, so there's really not a need to fix it anymore because it's not unbeatable anymore. The only card that I think is super strong is Wallbreaker, just for the sole fact that you have to deal critical damage, and there's a lot of decks that don't, so it's very hard to fix that, but it's not a huge problem. Nothing everybody can't deal with.
Yeah, so thanks again for your input, and thanks again for being a guest commentator on this video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'm going to have you again in the near future, because we have a lot of content. You know, DBZ, I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, hopefully, especially with Dragon Ball Super being released soon in the summer. We can see, hopefully we get cards for that as well, so I think this game is here to stay for a good amount of time, you know, so thanks again for having you on here, and any last words?
Yeah, I want to thank you for having me. I want to thank everybody on MrWaffles channel for allowing me to come and commentate a video, and I hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope to be back relatively soon.
Thanks, appreciate it. So hopefully you can get the trio, you, me, and Random Number Gaming, maybe do some like mashup commentating video or just something fun where we all like maybe play against each other. Maybe people might want to see that or something like that. That would be pretty cool. So
that would be fantastic, man.
That'd be awesome.
Love to do it.
Yeah, for sure. So take care, have a great day, and again, everyone, all my Z Warrior fans, it's MrWaffles, and also check out UofCWildcat. Again, I'll have his link in the description below, as well as when the video comes up, I'll have a link to his channel. So make sure to check him out. He has great content as well as Random Number Gaming. Sorry. So shout outs to all you guys, and until next time, Z Warriors, MrWaffles out.